Hello everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? Today we've got a really cool chess puzzle.
Oh yeah, this one's a good one. It's got some interesting twists and turns.
So let's set up the board. White, knight on a4, bishop on c4, pawn on b3, c3, e3, and h3. Then we've got a pawn on a2, king on e2, knight on h2, bishop on c1, queen on d1, and finally rook on f1.
All right, and for black.
Black, we have the rook on f8, king on g8, pawns on a7, b7, c7, e6, and d4. And then a knight on c6 and e4, and their queen is sitting pretty on h4.
Okay, I'm seeing it. Definitely a bit of tension already.
Yeah, you can feel it, right? So where do we even begin to untangle this? Let's get this going.
Well, right off the bat, black's rook on f8 and that queen on h4, those are some pieces to keep an eye on. They're really putting the pressure on white's king.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That king's looking a little exposed over there.
Exactly. But it's not all doom and gloom for white. They've got that rook on f1, could be a key player in defending.
I see. So it's like a bit of a tug of war. Black's got the offensive power, but white might have the defensive resources.
Right. It all comes down to who can use their pieces most effectively. Now, if I were black, I'd be looking to activate that rook on f8. Imagine moving it from f8 to f2.
Ah, I see what you're getting at. Now white's got to respond, right? They have to move their rook from f1 to f2 to block that attack.
You got it.
Okay.
But that opens up another opportunity for black. They can now swing their queen from h4 over to f2.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's not good for white. Their king is really starting to feel the heat.
For sure. And that's where black's knight on c6 comes into play. Moving it to e5 sets up a really tricky checkmating threat.
Oh, man, I completely missed that. So white is in a real bind now. What can they even do?
Well, their options are pretty limited. They're going to have to make some desperate moves to try and wriggle out of this. They could try moving their king from e2 to d3, then maybe to d4, hoping to find a little breathing room.
But I'm guessing black isn't just going to let them off the hook that easily.
You're right. Black's going to keep the pressure on. They'll push their pawn from c7 to c5. This forces white's knight from a4 to c5.
Just to stop that pawn from marching any further.
Precisely. It's all about anticipating your opponent's moves, trying to stay one step ahead. And now black can bring their knight back into the action, moving it from e5 back to c6, which cuts off some of those escape routes for white's king.
Okay, so with their king stuck on d4, white's probably thinking, all right, I'm just going to move to e4 and hope for the best.
That's a natural thought, but unfortunately for white, black has a spectacular finish planned. They move their queen from f2 to f5. Checkmate.
Whoa, hold on. That queen move, that was brutal. I totally missed that whole line of attack.
It happens. It really shows how quickly things can change in chess. One wrong move, and suddenly it's all over.
Absolutely. So the answer is black rook f8 to f2, white rook f1 to f2, black queen h4 to f2, white king e2 to d3, black knight c6 to e5, white king d3 to d4, black pawn c7 to c5, white knight a4 to c5, black knight e5 to c6, white king d4 to e4. And finally, black delivers the final blow, queen f2 to f5.
A brilliant checkmate by black. It's a fantastic puzzle, really showcases the power of coordinating your pieces and how to really exploit those weaknesses.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
See you then.